Hello, Megan.
Hi.
Everybody, meet Megan Eckman, my yes friend. We're going to talk today about being yes friends, which is something we kind of coined because we're friends here in the Vancouver, Washington area. And in the year of 2024, all last year, we're recording this in March of 2025. All last year, we became yes friends, where we would say, hey, do you want to attend this thing with me? Yes. Hey, I got this other weird thing. Do you want to go? Yes. This other one actually looks good. Yes. And we just started going to a whole bunch of events. We had a lot of learned lessons by the end of the year, and we thought, let's test it out. In fact, today we are recording during a break at a women's conference with the Greater Vancouver Chamber of Commerce in Vancouver, Washington. And we thought, let's take a break because this was another yes friend moment today. So, what better way than to do it while we're doing yes activities? So, Megan, I'm going to have all of your info and everything for people to connect with you in the show notes below the video so that we can just like really spend time talking about being really good business friends. Because you and I have also noticed that people seem to be struggling with this. Might be you. I want to know from you what makes you. This is like we have not actually talked about this before. You're going to be thinking on the fly.
Yeah.
What makes you feel like saying yes when I'm like, I found another link to a thing and then you say yes?
We do. It is like an almost every week occurrence. Yeah, at this point. Why do I say yes?
Yeah, like what goes through your head when you say yes? Because you and I both know what it's like to offer something to people and they say no. They're the no friends. But
Yeah.
you're a yes friend. So when I send you links like this, it's like, hey, you want to go? It costs money. We're going to be there all day, which means it's a major pattern interruption in our daily business because we're both business owners. So, how do you process your way into saying yes?
So there are a few things. First, curiosity is my number one value. And so it's not quite FOMO, but it's the I don't know what I will get unless I go.
Mm.
And so for me, there's always something to learn at every event. There's some kernel that I will glean from that event that I had no idea I needed. There's some weird insider information. There's something I'll pick up on. There's somebody that I'll meet that 9 times out of 10, I'll come back from an event, feel like, I don't know that I got anything out of that. And 2 months later, I will, or something will come up, or more than likely, because you've seen me do this, I will meet someone there. I will get their contact information, which is why I give them my LinkedIn QR code and make them connect. The ball's now in my court, and I will 9 times out of 10 go, do you want to have a virtual coffee date? Knowing next to nothing about them, we get on the call and I'll explain what I do. 9 times out of 10, the response is, it's so funny that you say that that's what you do because, and they're looking for somebody.
Yes. I have been telling you this since like all last year. I'm like, dang it, lady, you're so good at following up with people. I have kind of a bit of a time crunch problem in my life and in my business. So you know me
Yeah.
as like locking down my calendar a lot. But the one thing I have appreciated watching you do, and you did this with me too, when we first started getting to know each other, and you follow up with people. And I'm wondering if you have any magical answers for people who are like, yes, I need a yes friend. But also, once you have your yes friend and you go to things like this, you are going to meet people, you're going to have follow ups. I know how to approach this from like systems coaching, but like I want to hear a real human answer. Like, what goes through your mind? Like, how do you portion off the time? How do you not burn out? Because you're also a fellow introvert. So,
Yep.
our people capacities are small.
Get small. Yep. So I used a video game reference with you earlier today where I said your life bar was already flashing
This
and it
morning,
was
it
too
was so
early
bad.
and there were no power-ups in sight. Okay. I've been recently playing this game called River City Girls. So River City came out in the 80s and you were two teenage boys who were just like beating your way up through this city. River City Girls came out, and you are two delinquent teenage girls, and your boyfriends have been kidnapped, and you just beat up every single person in this city. And it's amazing. However, it's kind of like that, in that in order to level up, you just have to keep hitting people, hitting people, hitting people until you get strong enough that you can like unlock a new move. And so I'm at a point in my business right now where everybody's like, get to the point where you can say no. However, there's no just end. You've gone up a level, but now you have to do it again.
Yeah.
So I was at a point where for years I said no, 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 no. Everything funneled down. Last year was yes, 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 yes. To get to the point where now you and I assess some of them, and we've gone to something twice, and then we're like, this is now a no.
Yeah.
And now I can kind of assess some people where I'm like, I don't want to meet with you in person. I will meet with you virtually because that saves me time. But if it's somebody that I'm like, ooh, I think this is a good one, I will go and meet you in person. Before I was doing everything in person. And yes, it took a long time.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people think they've gotten to that point of no, not realizing you got your little like, ooh, level up, but now you just have to grind again because you've unlocked a new stage.
Yeah.
But that stage isn't the end stage. So I think a lot of people just get very comfortable being like, I don't need you. I have tons of clients coming in, and it'll all just keep coming to me. Where my mindset is like, I know everything is probably going to be like months down the line.
Yeah.
So I need to keep finding what's that next room to unlock. What's that next?
Oh, I love the gamifying. So first rule of gamifying it is, like in River City Girls, just use all the bullets, use all the weapons, just tear your way across town. I mean, not literally, people.
Yes, please.
I don't want to have to put a disclaimer on this video, but really, like, go to all the events. We have the two event rule where we will go twice. They're not always consecutive months if it's a monthly thing, or consecutive week if it's a weekly thing, whatever. But we will go twice and then make a decision, like, is this worth going to? I think also, like, the unsaid lesson right now, to make it really obvious for the people who've been asking for this video, is that when you have a yes friend, you have somebody to go with you. We tend to today's a conference, so it's a little different. We've kind of been sticking together.
Yeah.
But usually we'll walk into a room and split up, and we don't really talk to each other the whole time.
No.
Like, that's not the point. But at the end, we'll get together and we'll compare notes. And the notes are not like, oh, I learned this thing or whatever. It's like, what was the vibe check? Who did you talk to? Did anything weird happen? Did anything great happen? Like, what is the honest, like, no holds barred check on that event? And sometimes we have some pretty brutal conversations about people, which can get uncomfortable, about venues. Sometimes there's great groups, but they pick horrible venues, and we're like, I can't hear anybody. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. Sometimes we're like, wow, they always seem to attract the same group that we already know are not our people, and so why do we keep going back?
It's all realtors.
Yes. And so we need spaces where we can have that private conversation, where we are being judgy, but nobody's judging us for having that. And I think that's one of the beauties of having the yes friend.
We also, though, like, we can introduce each other to others when we need to.
Yes.
The other thing, though, is that we'll maybe be together for like a few minutes at the start. And I recently told you something that you hadn't noticed. And because I watch how people interact with you, and you watch how people interact with me. And so that I'd recently told you, when you say media producer, that the first thing people do is go,
You were like, instead of using the word content, use the term media, because they function the same.
They take a literal half step back. And you hadn't noticed that that's what they were doing.
Thank you. No, it's true though. Like, we'll test out what we do, watch each other deliver it, and then give each other feedback, which I think is helpful. I think another thing too that has been useful, that we've been processing really recently, is like our mutual level of weird. We've been wondering why aren't people as weird. We're like, that's our
Yeah.
reference. But I think like you do need somebody who literally vibes with you at a certain level of weird. And just because we're super weird doesn't mean other people, you have to be super weird to copy this. Like if you
No.
are a cool, calm, collected, you probably need a biz buddy, yes, friend who's also cool, calm, and collected. Because if you're with somebody who's like super extroverted, outgoing, hyper, it's probably
They'll
gonna,
leave you somewhere.
yeah, I think it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, like I let my husband defend for himself at one of the events and he got trapped with
Poor
somebody
Jeff.
for 20 minutes.
Poor Jeff.
He had to learn. He didn't see the exits, but yes. But that's what can happen if the levels aren't the same.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
one can get a lot out of it and the other doesn't.
doesn't.
And you and I have been able to kind of, there's enough kind of overlap, not even necessarily in the customer needing our services, but like they're the type of person
Yes.
that we could both jive
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
And that lets us know
Yeah.
if that person is there, other people like them will be there, and so then it's worth it.
I think it's also worth noting that because you and I do enough, we are essentially practicing regularly. And when you practice regularly, you gain better skills. It enables you to level up together. So when we are trying to assess rooms, I feel like we're faster at it now, we're better at it now. And having somebody else like always compensates for some blind spot you're walking in with, because some of the times the blind spot could be just like, I'm having a really rough week. I'm just like tired this week, or I just don't feel quite like myself. And sometimes like one of us will kind of help compensate for that. So I think that that is also really useful.
We've met so many people, so our network of loose ties has
Totally
grown.
expanded.
And we've seen the inside of so many
Yes.
venues.
Yes, which has helped us. This is going to be a shameless plug. It has helped us to form a new type of connection event based on our level of weird and also the things we've seen. So, you know, last year Megan was the organizer for the Portland chapter of Freelancers Union, and that national organization's gone through some structural changes in how they're doing their networking events. It happens, it's fine. But while I was attending your events, and you thankfully put me on your stage multiple times as well, we started talking. We knew it was going to come to an end, and you were processing it with me. And we were actually at another event. We were at a founder's pitch event, sitting in the audience, waiting for them to start. And Megan's sitting there, and she's processing it with me, and she's like, "Oh my goodness!" And you know, the good and the bad and the ugly and all the things. And I'm listening to you, and I was like, "You know what we should do? We should do a Pecha Kucha night." And your husband Jeff was with us, and he was like, "Yeah, we should do
He's
that."
also a yes man.
And he's also a yes person. And in that took us into what is now Hustle Hard, Slide Faster, which is launching in the Portland region. And in it, we saw how people were struggling to genuinely connect with each other. And I think it's this element of like, you're my yes friend. You're willing to talk about all the weird things. You're willing to, you know, go to these events and be brave. And I think I'm realizing as I'm like thinking aloud on the microphone today that I think that's what we're bringing to people who are trying to connect more deeply with other people in the community. I'm just wondering, like, am I on track there?
Yeah, I think what we noticed was that people are so quick to talk about their business.
Yeah.
But you're multifaceted. And I love knowing that like I have friends who have placed in world class level sporting events.
Mm-hmm.
And that is another facet of their business, you know, of their life. And I feel like people have forgotten how to have fun, or just that it's okay. I feel like we're too embarrassed by our like weird stuff. But like my last business, most of my clients were, it was a Venn diagram of librarians and roller derby girls. And I was like, okay, this is awesome. Tell me more. And I feel like people, their business and their professional and they don't want to tell me that they also like read tarot or they I was trained to fight with swords, you know, and it's just like these things that like we
Yes.
are multifaceted, and I think people forget that, and they just it's business, business, business. But if I know those things about you, I'm so much more likely to be like, oh my God, so and so should really meet this person.
I think you and I have noticed by going to all these events, because we said yes to each other for months now. Yes, 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 all the events. Sometimes it's like multiple events in a week, and like those were exhausting weeks, but we learned a lot.
We
And
did learn a lot.
and the thing that we have taken away is, yes, we need to buy the proper service from a person. Like if I need my car fixed, obviously I need to go to a mechanic,
Yeah.
not to a dog groomer. Like the dog groomer can't fix my car. So yes. But when you make the decision to work with a person, pay them for the service or the product, we're really doing it because we like that person. And I think this ability, it's not about becoming likable, it's about letting people in to know that who you are and that yes, they do like you. And I'm so curious to see like how this helps change the connection events around here. We're particularly excited about it because we've both been to BNI meetings, and that formula of starting off with who you serve and what you offer is something that we see at all the networking events. It's very standard, but you see people zone out. And there's one event in particular where we've gone to where the people, probably because it's queer and people are weird, and we just show up and we just like start talking about your favorite dinosaur. Like it happens, and people connect more deeply, and as a result that community is more robust and the people are bonded harder. I'm wondering, like, from your perspective as somebody who says yes, who's really good at following up with people, what would be your advice to somebody who is like, I don't know how to lead with myself and not with my statement, who I serve and what I offer? Like, how do you get over that mindset hump? There's a little bit of fear in there, I think. I think there's also a little bit of just like the unknown, and also like the habit is different. Like, what would you do?
I mean, I'll be honest, at a lot of these events, I do still use it. We just came out of a place that obsession on style.
Yeah.
And I think that sets the tone. You and I did not, don't look like the rest of the attendees.
No.
I mean, for me, I never go into anything thinking this person will be a client.
Yeah.
I more go into everything as how could we collaborate? And so when I go to events, it's like building this web of like, what could we make together?
Yeah.
And that to me is, I feel like people aren't doing anymore. There's so much like, this is what I do. Do you need it? Instead of like, if we joined forces like Power Rangers and we're like, build a bigger robot. Like, what could we do then? So I guess when I meet people, it's always it's going in with thinking about like what's the best that could happen.
Yeah.
That they like when I'm more so when I'm like reaching back out to them.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are scared of like they're not going to answer, they're going to say no, and I'm just like, oh my God, if they said yes, what could we do together and we could like make this thing.
That perspective is really helpful. This from the person who, in our very first meeting, we were introduced from somebody else who doesn't live here, who knew that we both lived here. So we got together for coffee.
Yeah.
And I knew it would go well because I think you initiated most of the getting together,
I did.
which is always a really big green flag for me because I tend to be the one who initiates and sets the date and sets the calendar and all the
I
things.
knew I wanted to meet you.
Yeah.
So I don't let it go when somebody is like,
Yes.
I will.
Yeah.
I will keep following up with you.
Which is part of this like following up thing. And
It is. If I know I want to meet somebody, they have to put up a lot of barriers to.
the
I'm not going to stalk you,
tenacity.
but like I know you're busy, and you said you wanted to meet up. Like it's going back on my calendar. It's going back onto Notion to flag you again and again, and because I want.
Yes. No, but I think people need to hear this because we hear formulas from people who teach networking or business strategies, and you don't hear from somebody who's actually like, and I'm putting you back on the calendar, and I'm putting you back on the calendar.
So I have a whole database.
Mhm.
So like, here's a perfect example. I just attended Smart Gets Paid, had a webinar, the podcast, and we got a guest book, 65 people. First thing you do, copy paste, poof, into my reach out list. Now, I have to act fast on that. 1 week. Because otherwise they're going to forget that we went to this thing.
Yeah.
So for this one, it was all LinkedIn. I went through every single LinkedIn and I looked at their titles. Is that something? Is their personality? Is there
you don't book everybody?
I don't. I cut it down to like 25.
Okay.
I used to would have reached out to everybody, but now I'm like, I can start to tell, like you said, we've run enough things. I can start to tell, like, this person has personality. They do user research for aquariums. And I was like, I want to talk with them. Book me. And so then I will, like, start to comment on their things or follow them or connect. One person lived in Portland, and I was like, hey, I'm in Portland too. Let's connect. She connected. I'm like, do you want to get coffee? And she's like, awesome. I'm busy for the next 2 weeks. Could we set up a time? I'll put it on my calendar. Like, put it in the notion of, like, reach back with them on this day. And it just, I have everything set up on Tuesdays. We're doing the reach outs, check the list, get back to them. And they're like, oh, I'm sick. All right, move you down 1 week. I'll be back. Like,
Megan, you have a system. I love the
system.
talk of systems. No, that's beautiful. Thank you for describing that.
Yeah.
I just think more people need to hear somebody else describe a system that works for you. The exact system might not work for somebody else, but they're not all really that different. Time functions pretty similarly for a lot of us. But it's helpful to hear, like, you went to this event, you copied the connection doc, you whittled it down, and you have regular standing times to call through that and go through it and get them on the calendar. And I think that's really important. I think the other really important thing is you are unabashedly yourself. When you and I first met, we weren't even halfway through the conversation. I tell everybody this story. And your question was, so what's your, it was, we weren't even on this topic. It was, so what's your favorite dinosaur? So what's your favorite dinosaur? And I was like, Stegosaurus, duh. And in that moment, we were both like, oh.
Because what I had learned was that I had just learned that I had ADHD. And it explained why certain conversations felt so hard. And why certain ones felt so easy. And so I started to throw that out because I figured, and this is not 100% accuracy, because somebody in our group, in our call, said she didn't know, hadn't thought about this. 99% of ADHD people, like, if you ask them what their favorite anything is, they'll be like, I've thought about this. I have sat on my couch late at night and I've ranked, like, milkshakes.
I've had internal dialogue where I'm like, I can't say Velociraptor because it's too cool.
I know. And that's, in my mind, it's like, that is the only correct answer. It's a beautiful little killing machine. So I don't know that that's the thing to lead with, but it is certainly, like, if you're trying to find your people, it's finding those questions that will kind of let you know.
I think it's a beautiful pattern interrupt, because you can get so stuck in talking about business, and I will talk about business all day, every day, but you can get really stuck talking only about metrics and audience generation and, funnels and offer structure. And at some point you've got to be like, who are you? Who are you? You're not going to know somebody completely.
What concerts do you go to? Favorite like restaurants. Pets are hard because pets, I'm not saying this for you, but
crazy cat.
I use pets with family because we can just, like, bypass all other conversation and they will just go for hours.
Actually,
and so anytime it, like, goes into dangerous territory, I just ask about their pet and I'm like, done.
No, I think like if the conversation's going off the rails or it's a difficult conversation, to go into pets,
weather,
kids,
yep. Those are the safe areas.
Food, your favorite foods or hobbies, whatever. hobbies can get into interesting territory if you let it go there. But
Yep.
I
Spicy
do think
soapboxes are good.
I love asking what's your favorite latest unhinged read, specifically
Yeah.
unhinged read, because it tells me everything I need to know
It
about the
does.
person. Because I've discovered this by being yes friends and going out to events and testing this, and
People will surprise you.
people will really surprise you and also not surprise you. And if somebody can only list 10x as the new 2x as their most unhinged recent read, I'm like, we do not bat for
That
the
could
same
have been an
team.
email. I read that. That could have been an email.
I want to know, who are you? And so I think like the learned lesson by processing this live stream of consciousness thinking together on a video is that yes, friends are really important. It doesn't have to be a ton. I would say that we have more than just us
Yeah.
who do join us on things, but we tend to always just go to each other because we know it'll be
We
like,
don't have kids.
we don't have kids. We know it'll be automatic support. We're free in the
We're
evenings,
free in the evening.
and so that makes it easy too. But like there are those factors that sometimes you do need to consider and think about and talk about with your yes friends or potential yes friends, or your network of yes friends. And the vibe match for everyone, even in our expanded circle, is definitely still the same though.
Yeah.
Like if we all go out together en masse, it's a little frightening. We'll take over a room. We'll meet
Yeah.
everybody.
But again, if people come up to us and jive with that,
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're in the club.
Yeah.
We can play with you.
Yeah.
We can play together.
Yeah. So I think our goal with Hustle Hard, Slide Faster is finding more of the yes friends, more of the same vibe match. And they are definitely out there. We know they are.
Yep.
Um,
And giving others a taste.
just
Because there are some who are going to come who are not going to be, they won't want to present. But they'll sit in the background and have a laugh.
Yes.
And it'll be good.
And it'll be I think it's very healing. A lot of these events can get very draining because they are very, very much the same. But not when we go to events. Okay. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah.
We have recorded a nice little vlog, messy vlog.
Yeah.
But we thought it would be really good to do it while we're here at this conference because we're in the zone right now. So I think the homework would be encouraging you to figure out who's your yes friend.
Yep.
If you don't have one, don't despair, but make it your 2025 goal to figure out, how do I find that person, meet them. You might have brushed shoulders with them already at an event and you just need to like actually do the follow-up and like have coffee and talk with them, and you'd be really surprised how far you can go with just a little bit of support. That was not a heavy lift for either of us to support each other in 2024.
No.
But we got to the end of the year, ended up in a room full of money.
Yeah, we did.
And we were like, oh, we figured it out.
Here. Yeah.
We should have been here the whole time, but it took all year to do it. So, what you can do in a 12-month period is really quite incredible.
I'm excited to see where we get at the end of this year.
Okay, we'll see you next time.